Now with 105 hours in a finished game, not much about my previous review has changed. Almost nothing at all, really. The main story remains the best thing in a whole about the entire game. Even with that being said, it's still a major disappointment. I played as a nice guy who mostly used his fists. For a decent time I used guns and explosives, but once I realized that some jobs came out more positive if you left the targets alive, or you went through 100% stealth, my fists became the moneymaker. Especially with the overpowered cage matches that requires all of your skills in a brawler and strength. The most entertaining one being some guy with a pissed girlfriend, who's betting all he has to better their life. Which, by the way, I let him keep the car and the money. Didn't matter though, the game still acted like I took his car, so later he calls me and asks if I'm treating her okay and driving her around. Guess I should have just kept the car. Most hacking abilities are boring unless you take the time to spend your money on searching everywhere and at every ripper doc for cyberware and trying them all out to find what you like. This seems okay if it were not for the fact that if you like to hunt achievements, you will need all the money for missions and cars, unless you really grind all that you can, including the reoccurring NCPD stars that pop up when traveling around the city. The only thing I gave up on was open world missions, the blue symbols on the map. I'm pretty sure they do not respawn, but they are extremely repetitive and are only fun for just beating the crap out of people. I suggest doing these as soon as possible, ignoring all the yellow jobs till they are forced upon you. This will get you the most money and faster, and will save you from 1. Not being able to complete it if you do not do the secret ending, 2. Playing them after all the interesting stuff has happened, making them even more boring than before, and 3. If you want to get the most money you can without being perfect at hacking for money and constantly carrying as much as you can to the shop and selling it all. Which, granted, is easier if you play like I did and focus everything into your fists and earn the most cash from all the side missions and being able to sell everything but your healing inhalers because weapons and explosives are now irrelevant. My character was a tank, taking and dishing a lot of damage. Other than that, certain cyberware just makes the combat a little bit more fun, like the mantis blades or projectiles. But again, this affects your payouts for certain things because to use them you have to engage in combat and can ruin your stealth or keeping people alive. I went through the entire game saving my money and using the cyberware given to me from drops or missions, until I became even more bored and just decided to finally buy something to break the repetitive cycle I was going through and breathe some fresh air into the gameplay. So I got gorilla arms and double jump. Boom. Instantly overpowered after focusing all my points into brawler. Yeah, you can buy stuff that allows you to carry more and improves your hacking, but this is all stuff that gets in the way of other things, mainly being costly, and slows down the action as you're trying to make use of the cyberware you spent your hard-earned eddies on to hack and breach anyone and everything around you. As I said in my mid-game review, there really isn't much of a medium. The best and most useful hacks being ping and shortcut for me. Pinging to see locations of enemies or computers, and then short-circuiting the robots from a distance. Everything else like camera control and breaching just come without buying anything, so basically RAM is what matters most when it comes to upgrading. I found the talking car and the talking vending machine side gigs to be my favorite, most memorable thing. Didn't get any crazy side missions that blew my mind or intrigued me so much that I completely forgot about the main story, to the extent that I was constantly pushing myself to not do the main story, as everything was incredibly boring, and I kind of just wanted to see what happens as well as just finish the game and open space up on my SSD for other games like Ghost Runner, which I highly recommend, by the way. One of the decent side gigs that mattered most were the Silverhand missions. Saving an ex-bandmate from some thugs, letting him take over to play a reunion show, and even taking Rogue out on a date and confessing his true love to her. Though it almost completely makes the main storyline about Silverhand dying and his girlfriend or fling, I don't know, being kidnapped way worse. We already know that Alt Cunningham would still be alive if he didn't run in there, yanking her body out, leaving her mind in cyberspace and blowing up the place. This is all made even worse when he shows that Alt wasn't even who he loved the most. It really goes to show that it was mostly just an ego thing. Someone fucked with Johnny, and they were going to pay because he had a big enough excuse now. The achievements are a killer as well. Kiss the achievements goodbye unless you really slow down all the action, like I said before, and try really hard to figure out how to make the most money from the start of the game. By the way, I had 900,000 eddies, and that was still not enough to buy all the cars. Not to mention, if you want to finish the main story, every option ends the game other than the secret ending. Only then will you be able to pick back up from the point of no return, so you best do this all before the end. all the dialogue options to pick which ending you want make no implication of what's going to happen. I wanted to do the secret ending, which I thought was just doing all the Silverhand missions. It isn't. It's doing them all, choosing a certain dialogue option and or having 70% relationship with Johnny, which I'm pretty sure the percentage only changes during these missions. So it all goes hand in hand, but apparently it doesn't matter what percentage there is as long as in one specific mission you choose to say "the man who saved my life" when Johnny asks what V should put on Johnny's gravestone. I chose Legend of Night City, which he is. And he also didn't save our life. He only saved his own, if anything. I was stuck at 60% and chose the wrong dialogue. So dumb. So basically, if you want to roleplay a life with Pan Am because you romanced her, you want Rogue to stay alive, or you want to get the secret ending so you can keep playing the game, whatever it may be, just follow a guide. There are 5 endings. Pan Am's ending being the best when it comes to happy endings. So make sure you do all of her relevant side gigs ASAP. And also finish everything else, because this ending doesn't have you come back to Night City and play beyond the story. Otherwise, you'll probably make a mistake because the dialogue options basically say nothing about what's going to happen at the end. Even during the final mission, I had to restart because the dialogue was so vague. Twice I told V I wasn't going to leave him in cyberspace, and then when I chose to walk out as V and get him back to his body, Johnny was pissed and started to beat my ass. Even though I just got done telling V, as Johnny, that I was going to save V. This happened after I chose the Rogue and Johnny ending. Apparently, when you let Johnny take over to invade Arasaka with Rogue's help, this means you're giving up your entire body to Johnny forever, even though none of that is implied. Why did they let me say that dialogue if that was the case? At least change what he has to say. Then after this, returning to my body as V from cyberspace, I thought things were going to go smoothly. Spend the rest of my days with Pan Am as she is still alive and so am I, but no. I flew off into space and left her to remain a nomad on her own without me. Oh, and you're still dying. But hey, at least you're the legend of the afterlife. Fucking dumb. Rogue died for this? Really? I'm not going to play this game ever again unless I get a better graphics card for streaming or a second PC to dedicate for streaming, and people request me to play. It feels like a waste of time otherwise. Knowing what I know now, it would go faster and easier, but it would feel exactly the same. I almost guarantee it. So good luck to you if you still give it a go. Those of you who disagree, good for you. Glad you're fully enjoying yourself and the game. Don't forget this is just my opinion, and yours can be very different. I'm not telling you to do anything or trying to persuade you to not play this game. If anything, you can pair my video with others and find out how to play the game in a way that makes people come back. That's up to you guys. Mods are already being made, communities are always forming. We will probably have a better chance of making this game better than CDPR will. So let's keep our passions positive, and I'll see you all in the next video, I hope. Subscribe if you want more, like if you like it, dislike if you want to, and peace out, gamers.